Good evening, guys. It's me, Adisa, the Alpha Empath, and Spirit has led me to talk to you guys tonight about emotional cheating. So, whenever I do videos, it's always because Spirit is leading me. It's always because Spirit is leading me. And just recently, I have had three of my students call me different situations, but the same sin. And I'm only going to talk about one of them today because I told her that I was going to call her out on this, and hopefully you guys can understand. Okay, if you're watching me, I need you to go ahead and say something to me. I absolutely want to know who is listening to me and who is being blessed by the messages that I give. Okay, so I had one of my students call me late at night, and she said, Adisa, my man is acting brand new. He's acting brand new, and I didn't put my hair in a ponytail, I didn't put my tennis shoes on, and I'm rolling up to his job to get him told. Now, when one of my students calls me in this kind of attitude, the reason why she's calling me is because she knows that I'm going to give her some information that she may not want to hear, but that's going to stop her from being a foolish woman and destroying the house that she is trying to build. And when I say the house that she is trying to build, I mean the relationship that she is trying to build. Does that make sense? I'm hoping that makes sense. Okay. So anyway, here was the situation. Let me paraphrase for you. She was doing something. He stepped on one of her abandonment triggers. This young lady tends to be very, very possessive about time. She tends to like to own dates. Like, I think it was his birthday and he wanted to do something. And she was like, no, that's your birthday, but you're spending this day with me. Because of her abandonment issues, she's very controlling when it comes to somebody's time. And we in relationships, women especially, we tend to like to control our spouses, our partners, and our mates based on our traumas and our fears. And then we tell them some foolery, something like this. Well, if you loved me, you would support and you would accommodate my fears and trauma. And that's BS. It's complete BS. I'm going to tell you something. It's going to hurt your feelings and you are not going to like it, but it needs to be said. All energy is borrowed from divine source, and you do not own your energy. You are a steward over your energy. I don't care if you married somebody. I don't care if somebody came out of your vaginal womb. You are a steward over the energy that divine source has gifted you with to evolve consciousness of divine source. And spirit doesn't care anything about our man-made rules. In fact, most of our man-made rules are completely stupid to spirit, completely stupid to spirit. And a lot of times we want to prop up our man-made laws in the face of divinity and say that this law is higher. And it's just not smart. It's just not smart. And then I had another one of my clients. I'm not going to mention her name. I'm going to respect her. But she wanted to talk to me about emotional cheating. She wanted to talk to me about emotional cheating. She saw a meme on Facebook and it said something to the effect of, yeah, if you really love me, that friend that you say is a friend, you would ditch her for the sake of our marriage. Now, listen, I understand. I understand. Believe me, I do. Again, let me say, you do not own anybody's energy. And ladies, if a man is going to step out, if he wants to step out, he is going to do it. And it doesn't matter how much you control him. His energy is wanting to flow somewhere else. It does not matter how much guilt trip you try to give him. His energy is going to flow somewhere else. I've even had one of my students, and I have done this myself, because our man or our husband is flowing somewhere else. My ex actually flowed into the arms of our live-in nanny, and of our live-in nanny. It broke me. It broke my heart. But let me be honest with you. I knew that his energy was flowing away from me for a very, very long time. And instead of accepting my truth, instead of accepting and asking myself why or what is his energy flowing away from me trying to teach me? And here was my truth. I never should have married him. That was my truth. But because I had married him and I put man's law above God's law that was in my heart and telling me that I was unequally yoked, I put my marriage license and my marriage contract and I tried to force together energy that was meant to part. So I attracted a situation into my life to make me face something that I it was painful. It was extremely painful. So again, back to the story. The young lady was saying, hey, if you love me, you would ditch this friend. Ladies, that's never going to work. It's never, ever going to work. Let me tell you how the divine feminine handles conflicts like a wandering eye or something like that. Most of my clients happen to be men. I have a lot of female clients. Women love me, but most of my 5D clients, I have three classes of clients, 3D, 4D, and 5D. My 5D clients are all $1 million men, all of them. And one of the things that I have been accused of, and let me just speak my truth. I have been accused by women of their husbands emotionally cheating with me. Women call me. They say that I am trying to destroy their relationship. They cry and they say, why can he tell you his secrets and he cannot tell me? Listen, ladies, a man is always going to seek divine feminine energy. He's always going to seek a woman of virtue. And when I say a woman of virtue, I studied Paleo Hebrew. And the woman of virtue is not this femininity illusion that this world has told you. The woman of virtue, it really means a woman of war, a woman of valor, a woman that can lead a general. Just like in the Bible, there was a woman by the name of Deborah, and she was leading the armies of God. This is a woman of virtue. And a man respects and he can love a woman of virtue. You have to have both to anchor energy to you. It has to have passion and it has to have purpose. Now, a lot of women will get into a relationship based on low vibrational purposes. I know you girls are going to get upset with me, but I gotta go ahead and put it out here. Okay. Us as women, we have to be more accountable for what we do and what we choose. And we will do things like get pregnant with a baby and then handcuff a man to us and say, it took two to make this baby, so now you have to be obligated to us. No, no. No, no. It is the responsibility of the divine feminine to accept an offer before she chooses to open her portal to deliver a spirit into her womb and deliver it unto this planet. If you haven't done your due diligence to say, what offer is this man offering me? And you just open up and bring in a portal, you were irresponsible. So how dare you expect him to act responsible now? Like I said, yeah, you may not like what I'm having to say. I have a few comments over here. Okay. Hi, Ashley. How are you, honey? Kabaya. I am so glad you are on here. Brother, listen, I listened to one of your posts and I was actually very impressed by you. I'm gonna be real with you. I know I'm not supposed to be talking about that, but I gotta give honor where honor is due. When you were talking about chakras, honey, you were spitting that knowledge. You really, really were. So let me read one of these comments. Money always keeps you away from home. I like being broke. Wait a second. Okay. Yes, I can understand what you mean by that. There are different kinds of being broke. Personally, I don't like none of them. That's just me, though. I don't like none of them. I don't want to be spiritually broke. I don't want to be mentally broke. I don't want to be physically broke. And I don't want to be emotionally broke. And a lot of men are looking for women to create a safe space. You know how us as women, we always say we want men to hold space for us. Well, we have to hold emotional space for them. Men are not as strong as us emotionally. And if you come in with fear and trauma and control, a man's energy he cannot exist in that space. Do not be fooled, ladies. Just because he has strong arms and strong muscles does not mean his emotions can challenge the hurricane that a woman brings to the table. He's going to lose every time, and he's going to seek a place where he feels comfort and peace. That is what he's going to do. That is what he's going to do. So here's the advice that I told my ladies. I said, hey, listen, if one of your traumas from a past betrayal is that your ex had an emotional affair with a woman that was a friend, and he would not let this woman go because she comforted him or whatever, even though you kept telling him how hurt you were about it, here's how you should have handled this. You don't go and talk about the fear. You look at everything that your man is doing right. That's what you do. And you begin to express gratitude to him. You begin to uplift him in thankfulness. You begin to commend him, because I am telling you, ladies, when you do that, when your mouth turns sweet, he's going to stop looking over here and he's going to start looking back over here. The reason why men are able to tell me their emotional secrets that they do not tell their wives is because I see the best in them, and I continue to look at that, and I make room to love their humanity while uplifting the highest version of themselves. When they fall short of the glory of their own divinity, here's what I do. I remind them of who they say they want to be, not in an antagonistic way, but in a loving way. I will say, hon, listen, I don't know what's going on, but I know that that's not the man that you are. I know that that's not who you are. You might have just slipped up or something like that. It ain't even worth forgiving, because I've already forgiven you for that, because I understand that that is part of your humanity. What can I do to help you? Tell me. Let's talk about it. That is how I respond to men. I remind them of who they say they want to be. Now, in order for this to work, you got to know the man before you receive the offer from him. Before you accept the offer, you have to really take your time to really study a man before you commit to him. You have to ask him, what is his vision for himself? And then you have to determine if his vision for himself matches the vision that you have for yourself. Here's another mistake that women make, and that causes emotional cheating. They come to a man with no vision for themselves, and they start acting like little children. The divine feminine does not act like a little girl. She is a woman that has vision. She is a woman that is capable of protecting her household, and she protects it mainly spiritually, and then she protects it emotionally. Have you ever sat down, ladies, and asked yourself, is my man emotionally safe in this relationship? Now, just like I do not, under any circumstances, tolerate physical violence from a man to a woman. I don't really have any sympathy. When that happens with my clients, I will tell a woman, in fact, and men have gotten mad at me, so you're just going to tell her to leave me? Yes, yes, yes. That's exactly what I'm going to tell her to do. I'm going to tell her to leave you. But that was good for the goose is also good for the gander. So the shoe is on the other foot. If a man is not emotionally safe with a woman, I'm going to tell him the same thing. Yeah, and I know what you're saying. You're saying, well, it's not the same, Adisa. Yes, it is. In fact, emotional abuse is worse, because a lot of times you don't even know you're being abused. With physical violence, just like a man, his penis is on the outside. When he makes a mistake, it is seen. When a woman makes a mistake, it takes a long time for it to be seen, because her stuff is hidden. It's hidden, but the scars of it reverberate throughout his life and throughout his thinking and throughout his emotions. If a man is being emotionally abused, now I'm not making excuses for cheating, but I'm just trying to keep it real with you ladies and help you to understand a man's perspective. You have to, in order to really love a man, you have to understand how they think. If you want them to understand your emotions, you have to understand their logic. You got to. You got to create a safe space where their inner child, because our inner child is never going to go anywhere. It's never. And you are going to be married to that inner child. So you need to know his traumas and stuff too. But I don't want you to shrink yourself. I don't want you to dim your light for him either. I had one of my men clients. He had a beautiful woman. Oh my God, his wife. Oh my God, she was stunningly beautiful. And I asked them, because I'll ask my couples, I'll say, tell me your love story. And he said that they met in college, and she was the prettiest woman that he had ever seen in his life. And he just knew that he had to have her. And he got her. But then when he got her, he noticed that once he married her, he would take her out, and the way that she was dressing would attract attention from other male men. So he said, Tiffany, she needs to dress differently. She needs to dress differently because these men are looking at her. She is my wife. Again, you don't own anybody's energy. You don't own anybody's energy. So he forced this woman to change herself and herself because of his insecurity, and he called it love. That's what he did. He called it love. So here this woman is not able to show how proud she is of her body. And when I looked at her, she actually was a very, very conservative woman. She had a beautiful figure. So she would wear long maxi dresses that just kind of showed her figure. But he had an issue with that, and he would drag her back into the house and have the audacity to say, if she loved me and if she supported me as a wife, she would not put me in dangerous situations. She knows that men are looking at her body. Why would she do this to me? And then I have to fight them. And here is my rebuttal to that. You knew that she was beautiful when you met her. You wanted the rose, but then you don't want the thorns that come with the rose. If you wanted that beautiful woman, you knew that men were going to be looking at her then. If you couldn't handle the attention that comes with her package, you shouldn't have paid the price to get her. You should not have. It's almost like buying a car that you can't keep up with the upkeep of. The maintenance package is too much, so you bring it to second grade mechanics, and then the value of the car goes down. It's like that. Men do it to women and women do it to men. But a divine union, and I talk about that a lot of times in my retreats. I talk about divine unions because divine unions are relationships that are not based on social constructs. They're not. And a lot of relationships are based on social constructs. They're based on the fact that we both broke and we can't make it without each other. And most marriages are codependent. I don't want to be alone, so therefore I'm with you. I don't want to heal my inner child, so me and your child together, we just gonna be together. We gonna figure this stuff out. Listen, divine unions come with two independent people that are not codependent. They enjoy, let me say this, they enjoy being single. They are whole, and they say there is something that we want to do. And I understand that by combining my energy with yours, because your energy is complementary to mine, I don't need you to make me complete. I am already complete. But this mission that we have a shared vision and a shared mission. So let's become one for that. That's really what a divine union is. And I personally think that that is what marriage is supposed to be. I really do believe that. You don't have to believe that. It's fine. But that's what it is. And then once the mission is complete, if the energy needs to move on, then let it move on in love. Let it move on in love. Some relationships are for a lifetime and some relationships are for a season. But when it is time for that person to go and they start attracting situation because it is time for them to go, let them go in love. Because if you don't, not only are you going to dim them, you are going to dim yourself. You are going to be using all of your energy to control them instead of using your energy to uplift you. I hope that makes sense to you guys. I hope that makes sense to you guys. Now let me get back to some of my clients accusing me of emotionally cheating with their men. Listen, it is a travesty. It is. I'm going to be honest with you. It is a travesty that men confide in me their deepest fears when there is a beautiful, because my clients, they all have beautiful wives. They just do. Their wives are just stunning. But it is a travesty that he feels like he can come to me instead of someone else. And I know what you're saying, ladies. You're saying that's just because he's secretive and he's sneaky and he ain't no good, blah, blah, blah. Listen, I'm no better than you. I'm not. If I can create a safe space for a man to share with me, by using wise words that are coming out of my mouth and always reminding him of who he wants to be instead of who he has been, you can do that too. So do it. And part of my gifting, when I was married, my ex had a problem with, I was an agent working for a life insurance company, and men all the time, they would say, Tiffany, come on this appointment with me. They would pick me up and we would go talk to some people and then we would split commissions and things like that. And my ex, he had a serious problem with that. Now, this was how I made money. Let me say that again. This was my livelihood and this is how I made money. From my perspective, there was nothing, there never, ever And the thought never even entered my head about something sexual between me and these men. But part of my gifting is I attract people. I am a healer. I'm a spiritual advisor. So I'm always going to attract people, and they are always, I'm an empath. So they are going to open themselves up to me. But because I was married to him and because I had the title of as his wife, he tried to dim and diminish the gift that Spirit had put into me and wanted me to bow down to his man-made construct. With that being said, I did the same to him. I did the same to him. So I am no better than him. I'm just telling you, if you want a house built on rock instead of sand, then you need to use revelation knowledge of who you are and use revelation knowledge of who this person is and stop running from your truth. Never run from your truth, because the more you run from it, the more the foundation of your house is going to be built on sand. And when the wind comes, it's going to be knocked asunder. It's going to be knocked asunder. So this is my gift with my clients and with anybody I meet. And what women try to do even to me, they call me and say, hey, Tiffany, could you maybe stop coaching my husband or something like that? And this is the thinking that I have in my head. How can you say you love a man? How can you say you love him? How can you say that I'll die for him and I'll do anything from him? And when he reaches out to someone to receive help, you say, now you can't talk to her. There's no sex. There's nothing. There's nothing happening except your fear and your trauma and your insecurity. But you love a person so much that you will say, I am blocking the help that is helping you because I need you to accommodate my fear. That is not love. That is attachment. That's what it is, and it's control. I've had it done to me, and I have done it to people. I hope that you guys understand that. I love you. The next Goddess Boot Camp is October 23rd through 25th in Miami, Florida. The cost of the boot camp is $711. I'm not going to be doing any more boot camps with goddesses. I'm going to be doing it with couples that are 5D couples that have done the work to work on their own insecurities and are saying, hey, we want order in this relationship, but we also want freedom. Those are the people that I'm going to be looking for. But until then, I love you, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.